Hello, friends. Welcome back to Panel Chewing Pick of the Week. I'm here with Jarrod, and we are back again to talk about our stack of books. We'll tell you what our thoughts are, and then we at the end of the episode we do have our favorite, which are the pick of the week. And after that, we are reading the Chris Claremont run of X-Men. We are discussing Annual 3 and issue 125. So we do have an annual, and that leads into the topic for the week.
Yeah. Uh, so, what do you think about this concept of annuals? What does it bring to a series that's long running to have this type of special edition, or in some cases, interruption in the regular run?
I think they're good because it alerts the reader to know what to expect. Because sometimes when you have kind of an issue or two that's very off the beaten path of like an ongoing series, it feels kind of jarring. But if you have an annual, you know what to expect going into it, so it's not as jarring or not as kind of a big of a surprise to get into it because you know what you're getting into basically.
Right.
And it's a nice place to play around and do different things and do something that you may not be able to do on a the normal ongoing series.
Right. As opposed to just shoving this story in the middle of a run
Yeah.
somewhere that's completely unrelated
Yeah.
to the ongoing thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to love the annuals back in the day when I was collecting comics regularly for the Marvel ones, the superhero comics, because I was collecting all the X-Men and a few other titles at the time, and I used to enjoy when the annual came out because it had this sense of being a special issue. But if you were if you liked the the regular series that was coming out, um, and like you said, they announced this annual, but it seemed like a special event every year. Because
Yeah.
that was the point of them, is that it was just like a special event, an extra an extra special thing to look forward to with your favorite characters in your favorite series. And I think it was released. It wasn't released as a replacement for the regular series that month. It was released on the off weeks. Um, so it was almost like getting into something more.
Hmm.
And usually they would cost a bit more and they would be a little bit thicker. And every once in a while, they would bring in a special artist as well
Hmm.
to give the readers something of a treat. And like this week, we have George Perez on the artwork for the X-Men annual that we read, and that was used to be a cool thing. Eventually, the annuals became a launching pad for new artists and stuff like that, and sometimes they weren't quite as good as the regular series artist, and they could be disappointing as well. And But I think around the time these books were coming out, uh, early '80s, um, there was something people really look forward to and special at the time. I'm not sure they have a place nowadays with the current comic book market. I'm not sure
Yeah, they'd be
how
kind of
they would
tough.
how they would fit into how comics are read and distributed nowadays. Especially with because back then you could count on Spider-Man and X-Men and Avengers and what have you every month without fail.
Hmm.
And the and those were the regular series. Today, a lot of people seem to focus on the story for the trade, and so annuals don't quite fit into that trade paperback format. That they and that they go for nowadays. And it's a different era, definitely.
Yeah, I think you can even maybe even market the annual if you're using a different creative team or at least of an artist as its own little trade within the even a month that you're behind on the mainline book. You can throw in an annual to keep people busy, but yeah, or to give the creative team a break, the regular creative team a break, an
Yeah,
annual. But yeah, it's I think it's a different landscape now in the industry to have an annual, but it can still have a place. I think maybe that's nostalgia talking. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I mean, how many people stick with a comic long enough to
Yeah,
actually experience an annual? You know what I mean?
I think it. I mean, I wonder what the percentages of series that start even Marvel and DC that last a year,
Yeah, I,
like
and then
new
that's
series.
another thing. Yeah, right. Because now they start series, they stop them, they redo them with another number one. Uh, you know, do we want to see? You know, we both been reading Minor Arcana
Mhm.
by Jeff Lemire. Would we want to see an annual of mine for Minor Arcana? Um, would that work for a book like that? Probably not.
No, I don't
Uh,
think so.
so how many? Yeah, it's definitely a different era, different
Yeah,
different feel nowadays.
definitely different. I guess we'll go ahead and get into the books of the week, and just a quick mention. I don't think we've ever mentioned this, but we are sometimes a week behind. Well, we read the previous week's book, and sometimes we because of shipping or our store doesn't have it or it's sold out or whatever. Sometimes we're a week or two behind. So if you do notice that, that's just delays, and sometimes you don't get to books in time.
Yeah,
So just a heads up on that.
yeah.
But the first book for me is Absolute Superman number 10. And this was probably my least favorite issue of the series yet. Well, maybe not least favorite, but close. And not because the book was bad, it's because the whole no kill policy thing just kind of gets to me sometimes. I get the philosophy of why some superheroes don't do it. I understand why they don't and the whole idea behind it. But when someone is trying to kill you or trying to kill a lot of other people, and you don't just kill them before they can hurt other people, it's I don't know. It makes me scratch my head sometimes. But the book itself is fine. I think the this is still my favorite absolute book. I'll still continue reading it. It's just the whole I have a it's one of the things that annoy me about superhero comics is the no kill thing. And we'll talk more about that here in a minute. But yeah, so otherwise it was fine. I mean, the book is fine. There's a twist in the book that I wasn't seeing coming, and yeah, otherwise it was fine.
Ah, good to know. I just got that in the mail. So
Yeah, yeah.
cool. All right, I get to look forward to that. Um, for my first book this week, I read The War, number one,
Hmm.
from Boom Studios by Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan. And I know you and Mike had previously read this story in the Hello Darkness collection or anthology.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Anthology.
and in smaller installments, they put for this particular issue, they put the first three installments from Hello Darkness, number one through three, into a single issue comic. Um, and so, as far as the book goes itself, I liked it. I like Becky Clooney's artwork, anyways. I think she's a good artist. Great facial expressions and stuff, and And I haven't read a Garth Ennis comic in quite a long time, so that was
Hmm.
it was a pleasure to come back to his writing, his dialogue between characters. I think is his strength, and the way the characters talk to each other always feels so natural and feels
Hmm.
um, and just feels I don't know, it just feels right. It feels like you're in the room with them, talking to them. The way Ennis writes characters, and uh, and some of their reactions are just so just realistic. Just it just feels like how people would react in a lot of these situations. And of course, the situation is horrific in
Yeah.
this book. It's
Yeah.
not a it's not a happy book. It's quite grim, but in a good way.
Very
It
grim.
it's pretty solid. I like it so far. I'll definitely be looking forward to the next issue.
Yeah, I hope they release a trade of the entire storyline eventually. I mean, I'm guessing they're doing single issues. First they did it in the anthology single issues, and I hope they have a collection. I'm sure they will, because it seems like it's a popular series.
Hmm. Yeah, it seems like they realized they had a strong property here with this story. Yeah.
The next book for me is Daredevil: Cold Day in Hell. If you listen to the show, you know that I really loved the first issue. I thought the first issue was great. It is a kind of a Dark Knight Returns. The world has gone to down the toilet, and there's a few heroes left over who are beaten and defeated. Most of them are dead, and Daredevil is one of the ones who are kind of still hanging around. No powers left, and Bullseye is still a threat in in the world. So this is kind of Daredevil gathering enough strength to for one last hurrah to save the day. There's a lot of things that were set up in this series, a lot of things that were established, and a lot of things to look forward to. Unfortunately, I didn't think that they followed through with a lot of that. Feel like it was established and set up, and then we didn't really get a follow through. Didn't really get a payoff for a lot of it. And with 3 issues on a story like this, it felt rushed. At the end, it didn't feel like we had enough runway to really have enough time to finish the story. I think the art was still good. The art was good, I think, throughout. But the first issue started more as a gritty, grounded story, and then we go to more of a over the top kind of over the top action at the end in this last issue. And again, we go back to the heroes don't kill thing. I won't spoil anything for anyone who hasn't read it, but this is another one of those things that just really irritate me. Of yeah, so it's brought up in this issue. I wasn't a fan of the ending. It kind of gave me a sour taste on the entire series. It just didn't seem. I don't really know what the point of it was now that it's over. So unfortunately,
Ah,
was not a was not a huge fan of this one.
the old sound effect. All right. Um, so next up, I have a huge magazine, Heavy Metal #2, and this came out, uh, and it's like 240 pages of comics, and they really jam a ton of different comics in here, a ton of different stories, all sci-fi, fantasy based stuff, and the cover is by Brahm, who's a famous artist, and they always have an unbelievable cover artist for these magazines, and this is their relaunch of heavy metal, and they're really going for it with these extra thick size magazines, um, and it's really a beautiful package, and I was going through it, and I'm reading it, and I realized that a lot of the stories in here they're okay. They don't like stand out as like wow that was fantastic, you know. And you're switching up, and it's I mean there's like 20 different stories in here, or even more.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like almost 30 different stories in here, broken up into like little 5-page segments here and there. And and I realized going through it that I think I really love the idea of this magazine better than I actually like, better than I'm enjoying the stories that are
Yeah.
inside of it. And a lot of them are pretty cool. They have these little cool beats, but I think I would have enjoyed them more as a collected single comic than in this format where you only get, because a lot of them are to be continued, and they were continued from the first issue and they're to be continued in the next one. A lot of them, and some of them started in this issue and they're going to be continued in the next one, and some of them are just standalone, little throwaway stories, and and it feels that way. It feels like they're throwaway stories, and so it's like I really appreciate some of the effort that's gone into these things, and I like, and some of the artwork in here is fantastic, and some is okay, some is weird. It's all very slick and professionally done and looks really nice. Um, but overall, I really, I don't get anything out of it as far as anything I'm going to remember. It doesn't stick with me. It doesn't, it doesn't. It's just like a novelty item, the magazine, and then that's cool for what it is. And if you enjoy that kind of thing, then you're gonna really like the heft and the feel of this magazine. But I don't think I can continue on with the expense of it for what I'm getting out of it.
Hmm.
But I think if you like that thing, it's going to be for you. But it's I think I've had my fun with the first two issues, and I'm probably going to move on.
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. It is kind of a novelty or kind of it's one of those things where is it worth the price of admission just to have it and just to experience it, even though you know it won't really stick with you?
right. That is the question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough. So the next one for me is Sisterhood, a Hyde Street story, number 2. So after the murder of her best friend, Sophie has some decisions to make uh, on whether to take revenge or whether to listen to what may or may not be her old dead friend. And I'm not sure how it ties into Hyde Street yet, but if I'm thinking the way that if it's going to tie in the way that I think it will, there's a lot. I think there's a lot more a lot more going on here. So if you aren't reading Hyde Street but you are reading Sisterhood, I think there's more happening here behind the scenes that we don't really get a full picture of if you're just reading Sisterhood. But the art is fantastic. I really love the art. It's by Layla Lees. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But great art. I love the horror and the revenge angles and the dark tone. It's just fun. It's a good book. It's not anything that's going to blow your socks off, but I'm excited to see where it goes. It's going to get much darker, I think, very soon. So looking forward to that.
Cool. Uh, Up next, I have another entry from our friends at Distillery Comics. This is White Boat number 2. It's written by Scott Snyder and art by Francesco Francavilla. And this continues the story from the first issue with this one character who's trying to solve the mystery of his of some horrific stuff that happened earlier in his life, and it's coming back to haunt him now. And this second issue had a lot of deepening mysteries, and it had some real like pulp adventure type stuff. It had that feel of that like those the comics from like long ago that had like a just that um, there's a little bit of cosmic horror going on here, but it's
Hmm.
explained. Not it's not actual Lovecraftian stuff. It's actually explained why it is that way it is, and it has. If you're familiar with like the pirate story in Watchmen, it had that kind of a feel to it,
Hmm.
or maybe that kind of the that Lost feel, like
Yeah.
from the show Lost, where you have all these mysteries and you're trying to put them together and what's the hatch for and stuff like that. But the um, the so you got all this going on and you have these a secret society and stuff like that. So it's really cool how it has that feel and it's coming together. And I like what he's doing with it. And there was even a mention of H.G. Wells,
Hmm.
like as a character in the story from the past. So it was. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. um, and there's the story is kind of about the hubris of the human race and um, the like the monstrous ambition of man and and also seeking forgiveness to assuage one's own guilt. So it's pretty good. There's a lot of cool stuff packed in there, and the artwork's great. Frank Avila is a great artist.
Hmm.
He knows how to tell a good comic book story with his artwork, and I think that's a strength of the book. And so I'm really enjoying this book, and I hope the third one comes out soon. Yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen, but
Hmm.
looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I started reading the first issue. I didn't finish the first one. Not because I didn't like it. It just ran out of time. But yeah, it's Scott Snyder's a little hit and miss for me, but this one seemed to be a hit for me from what I read. But yeah.
Yeah, it gets even better in the second issue, so it's something to look forward to.
So two more before we get to our picks. Go through them really quickly. The first one is Ultimate Wolverine #8. All right. So in this one, so this series has been a lot of introspective look at Ultimate Wolverine, who is the Winter Soldier in the Ultimate Universe, and a lot of it has been him looking inwards and him dealing with what he's kind of the chains that are put on him. And this issue, we get a bunch of other mutants to team up with him and go on a rescue mission. And when they when they are hurt or worse, the other mutants, no one really seems to care, which is really strange because it just felt really odd to
Hmm.
me. The artwork is really good; it's been good throughout, but in this issue, could have been like 6, 7 pages long and told the same story. It just felt it just really light on story. There's not a whole lot of substance with it. I'm hanging on, but not by much. I really like this series when it started, but it's when you start introducing other X-Men and you start introducing all the other ties to the universes, and it just becomes muddied and it just isn't the same. So I'm hanging on, but not for much longer if it continues like this. And the last one before we get into our picks is whatever happened to to the Crimson Justice #3. This is by Mad Cave Studios. So Dr. Mayhem is continues to wreak havoc on the city, trying to draw the Crimson Justice out of retirement. And meanwhile, the Crimson Justice is trying to he might be losing his mind. And it's seems to me like it's the price that he's paying for the years of punishment he put himself through protecting the city. So it's this back and forth with Dr. Mayhem doing worse and worse things, trying to hurt innocent people to draw him out, and the Crimson Justice keeping his head on straight. So this is feels like a good. I like the things that they're exploring here. I'm gonna see kind of where it goes. I wonder how like how wide of a swing they're going to take with it, or they're going to take kind of a safe way out. But it seems like they're doing some experimental things or doing some new things. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Um, whatever happened to the Crimson Justice, we'll see what happens next.
Cool.
And with all that said, it is time for the pick of the week.
Yeah. All right. I have Lazarus Fallen, number 2 for pick of the week. And it was a tough choice. I thought White Boat was a contender, but I picked this one as because I love the Lazarus universe. I love the story, and I really like Michael Lark's artwork as well. It's fantastic, a high level of realism, and but yet everybody's distinct, and you can and it's just beautifully drawn. The It's hard to talk about this book without giving stuff away from the earlier series, because as soon as I say, our main character, Forever Carlisle, as soon as I say what she's up to, it gives away everything that's going on in the whole series. But needless to say, this is going to be the final series. It's going to be like a 20-issue run, and things are already like just setting the stage for that. Things are coming to a head. Um, and Forever is in a situation. I love that because she was in a situation where she had to kind of prove to somebody that she was on her side, and the length she went to do that was pretty cool. I really liked how she pulled it off, and I was just impressed with that. And I thought it was kind of very imaginative on Greg Rucka's part,
Hmm.
how he wrote this issue and how it was presented. Uh, so I'm just enjoying the heck out of this final run, and I'm really looking forward to how everything is going to play out in this universe. And I really wish somebody would have picked it up, optioned it for a show, because I think it would be fantastic. Because I know Rucka was talking about it like 5 or 6 years ago, but I don't think anything ever came of it. But
Yeah, I remember them talking about it. Yeah.
yeah, but I never heard anything more than that. So it's too bad it hasn't been picked up. I think it'd be a fantastic series if somebody did
Mhm.
it right. But it is a fantastic series in comic book form. So check it out.
To have a follow up for a previous series of 20 issues, that's pretty damn good. It's a pretty
Yeah,
good run. It's pretty
it is
impressive.
fantastic. Yeah.
So my pick of the week this week is Napalm Lullaby number 10. Now, if you've listened to the show, you know that, as Jared mentioned, Mike and I had been, excuse me, talking about this book since issue 1. And it's as enthralling and exciting as it is confusing at times. There's lots of weird things that happen. There's a few issues that I was completely lost. It's a brother and sister, and the world that they're in changes constantly. They're in different situations as the story progresses and as they choose the decisions they do. And every issue it feels like presents an idea and has conflicting views on the idea, and you as the reader, you are kind of faced with that question too, because you have to ask yourself in this issue. This isn't giving really too much away, but it's the characters face whether they will live in a world of that they have a say in the creation of, or if they live in the real world. Now, do you live in a world that you know is not real? That's a kind of a simulation, or it's not a simulation. It's just an example. I'm not spoiling anything. But do you live in a world that's a simulation, or do you live in the real world? It's a lot like the Matrix films. You're given the option to stay in the Matrix and be a battery, or you choose to live and you face all the hardships that come with living in the world. So it's one of those, and I think we all have worlds that we disappear in, whether it be hobbies or for some people like MMOs or social media. or whatever it is that we love to do that gets us an escape, and we wonder if it wouldn't be too much, if we'd rather live as this little digital person on the screen rather than our real lives. I mean, I think we've all fallen into some kind of trap at some point in our lives. So it's this question that is presented in conflicting views, and I really like that it's playing with bigger ideas. Now, for as confusing as the whole series was, the end, they nailed the ending. It's probably one of my favorite endings. I had the chills reading it when I got to the last few pages. I mean, Remender just absolutely nailed it, hit it out of the park. And I really want to get my hands on the trade to read it from start to finish, because there's things that I think I'll notice now that I didn't notice before. So fantastic, fantastic series, great ending. One of my favorite endings. I don't want to say ever because it's early. I just read it, but definitely in the near the recent history, one of my favorite endings. Probably my favorite ending. Just great stuff. Really good stuff.
You think they'll have all 10 issues in one trade, or are they going to break it up?
I really hope so. I really hope they'll do it in one trade, but I'm guessing they'll probably do two. Two or maybe even three. But maybe someday they'll do one trade. But
Right.
yeah,
Maybe something I'd be interested in.
really good stuff though. Rick Remender, I mean, he's one of the writers that whatever he writes, I'll read. I'll give it a chance. And
Yeah.
yeah, The Sacrificers is another excellent book. Other
Yeah.
than Assorted Crisis Events, it's one of my top of the year. So
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely. Yeah, I like a lot of his stuff.
yeah,
I'm not going to say I like everything he did, but
right,
I like a lot of his stuff.
yeah. So
How
now
about
we
you?
got through our picks. We are heading into our read of X-Men. Now this is open to. We invite anyone to read along with us. This is free on Libby or Hoopla. If you don't have an account on Libby or Hoopla, all you need is a library card, and you can check out the book for free on that service and read along with us. We read 2 issues per week, and in this week we only read 2 because we read the annual number 3 and issue 125. So the annual, I think what stuck out to me in the annual was how fantastical it gets,
Mm.
how kind of fantasy, and it goes really off the rails. I don't. It maybe kind of miss this kind of story because it seems like recent history they don't really tell these kind of fantastical stories anymore.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. Yeah, it's definitely that the other world portal to another world type thing, or teleport to another world or whatever you. And the other world is like based on a sword and sorcery kind of vibe,
Mhm.
and yeah, so fantastical indeed. Yeah, I like. It was nice to see George Perez artwork again. Um, so if you got to have somebody filling in for a John Byrne, you can't go wrong with a George Perez. He's just as good a draftsman as Byrne is, and he really knocked it out of the park. I think with this annual number 3, he had a unbelievable 2-page gorgeous spread when they have in
Mhm.
that battle with all the people, and it was just like all the different faces and all the different people in the battle and stuff like that. Just really good stuff.
The artwork is just it's so clean and so
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I probably wouldn't. I'd probably have to sell the house to afford it, but I'd love to have a print of like an original print of his work one day.
Mm.
Just beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah.
Claremont was spoiled with artists he had.
Is wasn't he? Yeah.
He had a pretty good run of really great artists.
Yeah.
Because a bad artist can take your story down pretty easily.
True. Yeah. Yeah. And I have no doubt that a good artist may have taken some of his stories up a notch and
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah, uh, yeah, it was cool. I like the focus on Aurora, um, right off the bat. How she's showing doubts about the X-Men, about being an X-Man, and because I know that this comes up quite a bit over
Mhm.
her career, and there was even a time much later on where she's heads off on her own and stuff like that. So you're seeing these doubts, and I find it amazing that Claremont doesn't forget any of these details later on in the run. He really keeps track of everything.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff comes up over the next 100 issues or so. It really is amazing how much he kept track of.
Yeah. Um, and just the it seems like it's just able to take some big swings with the annual. I was thrown off a little bit at first because of the the it just kind of because you're kind of reading the mainline story and then you're taken out in the annual. But it is fun to have a break and to have a a detour and do something completely different for an issue, knowing you'll go back to the story you were reading.
Yeah,
So you know how long it's going to be.
yeah. And they had that neat little, they had the little editor's asterisk note. This takes place in between this and that.
Yeah, continuity.
uh, I didn't know that Cyclops could act as a battery, kind
Mhm.
of, for energy that actually powers his eye beams there.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either.
That was interesting. But yeah, but then we get back to the main run with issue number 125. Very iconic cover by
Hmm.
John Byrne with the Phoenix there, and the side views of the other characters and stuff like that around the Phoenix. I like that cover. I remembered that one from way back. It just that's one of those covers that kind of sticks with you.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we get this. It starts off with this like reminder of everything that's went before. We get this huge wrap up. It's like 4 or 5 pages long
Yeah.
of what came before, and Wingard, that we get reintroduced to the villain Jason Wingard, and he kind of totally tells us what's going to happen.
Hmm. Yeah, he
Like
does.
he tells us that the Hellfire Club is going to take control of Jean Grey. Basically, they even show us a picture of her dressed up like the Black Queen, and I was just like, "Wow, he's actually just telling us what's going to happen in the next 4 or 5 issues or whatever." I thought that was kind of
Classic
funny,
villain move. Yeah.
but that was a quick thing. The main crux of the issue was the Mutant X um, storyline, and and so that was introduced. The and we get the reunion of a
Hmm.
sorts with the Beast. Um, and of course, they finally find out that Jean's still alive.
2 years later, probably right.
Yeah. And we get a bunch of stuff introduced for upcoming storylines. A whole bunch of stuff in this issue. So I think this is the start of it. I think this is the run we've been waiting for here.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Xavier, he starts to realize that the Dark Phoenix power is Jean can only hold it for so long. Jean's starting to, she's not as tired when she uses her powers anymore. She kind of craves it. It's becoming almost like a
Yeah.
drug. And yeah, the build up is slow, but it's cool now that we can read it one after another and not have to wait a month between issues. But I'm excited to see where this goes and to reread this storyline.
Yeah. Yep. This is the stuff we've been, like the stuff we've been waiting for. This is it.
Yeah, definitely. The time period between, you know, the X-Men being separated and thinking that half of them were dead. It's been a long time,
Yeah, that
even
was
for us.
quite stretched out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see to reread the storyline and to see how it's all put together and to notice things I didn't notice before when I was who knows how old reading it.
Yep. Yeah, very cool.
Classic.
I was definitely more excited this week with these two issues
Yeah.
than like I think last week was kind of a low point in the run.
Yeah.
uh, the ones
Yeah.
we read last week. Yeah.
I think it'll start to pick up steam now with 126 and 127. So yeah, it's this is what we started reading this this book for. So the reread was kind of we wanted to get some classic runs, and of course the Claremont run is classic in its this whole run is a classic run, but Dark Phoenix Saga is one of those that
Yeah.
it's I don't know if it's a must read, but it's up there.
Yeah. Oh, they made a movie about it.
Yeah, it's true. Right. So yeah, so that's I think that's it for us this week. We'll be reading issues 126 and 127 next week. If you would like to read along with us, we'd love it if you did. In the meantime, Jarrod, where can people find you?
You can find me at the Fantasy Thinker YouTube channel. You can find me in Speculation Podcast and the Oscar Project on Film Chewing as well.
Yeah, find me on pagechewing.com. We also have a link in the description. If you have any suggestions for the 100th episode, or if you have any reading suggestions for us or any other comic related shenanigans like that, or you can join our forum and talk to us there. So until next time, we hope you have a fantastic week and we hope you find your pick of the week.
Bye-bye.